Hi, everybody. I hope you had a great spring break. My name is Shelley, for those that don't know me, and I am here to answer the video question for week 9. The first question is, what's the difference between verbal and nonverbal behavior? As according to Skinner, he defined verbal behavior as behavior that's reinforced through the mediation of another person. And that's basically the gist of it. I say water, I get water. Therefore, that behavior of me saying water is reinforced by receiving water from somebody else. Skinner went through a number of other points, which includes that the listener must be trained to provide the appropriate response. So there has to be a history of learning there. That person has to know what water means and that I am asking for water, I'm demanding for water. Essentially, I'm telling them, give me water. It occurs after a response has been emitted. And basically, like any other piece of any other reinforcer, it's going to increase the future frequency of that behavior. And as I said, it has to be an interaction with another individual. As I said, an example of this would say, I'd say water, somebody gives me water, I'm reinforced because I got the water that I want. Nonverbal behavior is pretty much any other large muscle movement. So say I'm thirsty, and I go to the behavior is I go to the fridge and I get myself water. That is not verbal behavior. I'm not, the state of me being thirsty is not something, is not an interaction between two people. The big thing about Skinner's perception of verbal behavior as compared to what other people would typically think of verbal behaviors, when you say verbal, most people think of spoken word. Skinner extended his analysis of verbal behavior to a variety of other forms of communication, including speech, picture exchange, writing, sign language. There's a variety of other things that he included under the umbrella of verbal behavior. Typically, how I would explain verbal behavior to a non-behavior person is his analysis is really, it's about communication. It's about communication between two people. And there's some prerequisites there in that one person, they need to have a history of learning so they know what each other person is trying to communicate. That's the biggest thing. As I said, a great example of verbal behavior is your child. Obviously, you speak, you have taught your child some words and your child uses those words, and for example, your child says M&M, and you give them an M&M. They are probably going to ask for an M&M again, which could be good or bad. But that's essentially what we're talking about with regard to verbal behavior. It's communication between those two people, and it has to be between two people. And essentially, in order for that word to be said again, something good or something that person receives has to make them want to use that word again. So that's basically the gist of it. I hope everybody has a great week, and we'll talk to you next blog. Thank you.